Crib Comics Podcast. It is November 1st. And we're here. But in the show today, I got Roland and I got Rich. And I thought I was going to have two others, but they're being a bitch. Anyway, we're here for the first of the minute news. And I'm just going to go ahead and go right into it. It's something that we were actually kind of talking about in past episodes, and I knew we all kind of knew that this is it's always seems to be a problem when you are in the comic book world. And how does it affect you? It affects you because you're not going to get your books. That's how it affects you. Now, depending on, I'm going to go ahead and refresh this because there's just too much pop-up, courtesy of Bleeding Cool News and their world-renowned pop-up webpage. But anyway, I can't fault them. They got to make their money their own way because I'm not paying for it. Anyway, so some comic shops are now regularly breaking street dates. When DC kicked off, I'm going to read it verbatim. When DC kicked off the New 52 in 2011, it was accompanied by new trading practices negotiated by then DC Comics VP and former retailer Bob Wayne, no relation to Bruce, with Diamond Comics distributors and others. Diamond Comic distributors would
actually, I guess real quick, you can actually, if you go, you can pinpoint when we stopped liking DC Comics. In 2011.
In 2011, it was decided, screw those. Anyway, stores breaking the street date would lose that early delivery privilege. Okay, it all had to do with when the delivery of those comics were going to hit your shop. Because I guess trade of practice was if they were coming out on Wednesday, guess what? You were going to get them on Wednesday. And you distribute them and you put them up on your shelf. But I needed my comics before. So you pay that little extra, you sign that agreement, and you get your comics early on a Tuesday so that you have that, you can fill up your shelf for early that Wednesday.
Or find that hiding spot for your Bloodshot number ones.
A store would pay into a fund so that mystery shoppers would, I guess, go onto their stores on these street dates. And when people first started checking 2% of the stores, 2% of those stores were ended up breaking the street date rule. And that number dropped almost to nothing. Now it's back up again. So I guess that, early pinpointing of all this kind of problem, they started getting tough with, I guess, these stores. This year, DC Comics dropped Diamond and they went into the shutdown. DC instead set up two new distributors. And we talked about that. Retailers started getting these comics, before actually. When Diamond returned, the fee of the mystery shopper was dropped and the service went away. So you didn't even have a guy going in there anymore. It's like, of course, it's the honor system, I guess. A lot of comic book stores do honor that. And, I think that's kind of cool. And it says here, with the temptation coming to bear, it's multiple reports of multiple comic book stores just in favor of the customers early, and they're just going to go ahead and just do it. Some comic books go out as early as Thursday the week prior. So it's comic book Thursday for the following week. Like right now, you can go into certain store and get all those DC comics that are usually scheduled for that Wednesday delivery. Rich, you've seen this. This is still very active in our town. Do you have a problem with it? I mean, honestly, it helps out because sometimes we're stuck in certain places, and having the ability to go in and get a comic at our schedule, it kind of works out. Because how many? Okay, out of let's just say in an average working month, when you're actually the school, because you're a photographer, so when school is in session, you're at shoots all over the state, pretty much. If in some cases, can you get there in the morning if a shop opens at 9 o'clock? Can you get there? No, you can't.
I
Even
gotta
if
be
the
at
store,
school by 7 a.m.
right, and then if the store opened at, we'll see. It is known that most of the comic book stores will open early. They'll open early at like maybe 9, 11, or 10 or something like that because they want to sell those books, first thing. Now, if something comes out the afternoon prior, you've already done all your stuff and the school's out, or that it seems to
Yeah,
be a little bit easier.
most of the time, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. That's the day before would be ideal because I'm getting done with the school. I'm able to get home, and on the way home, pick them up, and then I'll have to fight everybody buying them on Wednesday.
Let me ask you this question. If somebody was to say, well, why don't you just go ahead and open up a pull box?
I don't buy every single comic, every issue, I'm selective with my books, and I can't go in and keep changing my list. And I don't think any comic book store wants you to keep changing your list every week, because they're not going to want to keep changing it. And you only got so much room on the 1 3x5 card that they give you, or on the board. And if you keep changing it, they keep putting a black line through it and changing it again and again. And
Right.
before long, they're just gonna
you're actually you're trying to respect the store, and you're just trying to like, hey, look, I'm not wasting your time. You don't want to waste my time, blah blah blah. I just want to be able to go in and get the book. Hopefully it's on the shelf, and get your comic and stuff like that. Roland, what is your opinion on, because I know that you've just recently started you're an anomaly, so it's not really fair, but in some regard. Okay, well, I mean, I'll pose this question to everybody. Once you start a pull box, there's almost that pressure to get what's in your box sometimes.
And that happened this past Wednesday. It's funny, the places I've been, when I was stationed in Florida, in Milton, the comic book store only opened up on Wednesday and Thursday. The guy, I think, had another place, or I don't know, he was just like, well, I just lose money when I'm open up all week. So he was just open up on comic book day and the day after for people to pick up their stuff. But here, I opened up a pull box and I was asking him about stuff. I had actually asked him a question like you wanted me to ask about it, if he carries Spawn or something like that. So this past week when 311 came out, usually I go in and I talk to him, ask him what comes out. But this time he was talking to someone, so I just went back and started looking. And I saw Spawn. I'm like, oh, okay. So there's that trifecta that, the odds are somebody might be in the book at some point. And then when I went to go get the stuff out of my box, he said, oh, I threw in a Spawn because, I didn't know if, because you had brought it up. So, well, okay. So again, asking him what he carries. Real quick, I felt I felt like I had to buy, I kept wondering, did he get Spawn because of me? So I have to get this issue.
Thank you. I put it was like the soup Nazis, the comic Nazi guy.
But let's talk about this anomaly that last show, when we were talking about a comic, I was like, oh, there's no way I'm going to get it because everybody's getting, shortchanged and all this other stuff. And I go back to look at the comics and lo and behold, on the shelf is...
Yep, I got it. Yeah, it's right there. Last Ronin. That right now is probably the hottest book right now, and that was released. I mean, there might be some other ones, but I want to say, if you are into comics and you've been following comics at least for the past couple of weeks, that by all means is probably one of the hottest comics right now that you could have got, and he's the one with them.
And so every comic book store, you were telling me that everybody's like, well, you're only one per box. You're only gonna, you're limited. You can't buy multiple copies. I bought 2. There were 3 on the shelf. I bought 2.
The store I go to still hasn't even received their comics at all for the week.
And there goes to the Hot Minute News, I think.
I mean, I don't know if that's. I mean, it could be shipping error, it could be whatever. It could be the ultimate hand slap. it could, who knows what happens when something like that happens. But I know that, you know, I think in these trying times, you're trying to make money, you're trying to get those comics sold. If they're just sitting there and you have the, you know, the chance to sell them, I don't know. I mean,
to me, it takes the legitimacy away from being a comic book store. But then again, these are the same. Some of these people are the same ones who, the day it comes out, I know some of them are suggested retail price, but to release a comic the day it comes out and jacking it up about 4 or 5 times.
Well, okay. Then this is a question that's posed to here, and I know we've done this playing the what if scenario. You're given a set of rules. Here are the comics. You're allowed to have them, and you're paying extra. I'm assuming you're paying extra to get them early. You know what I'm saying? You're paying for them to be there. Should you also be told how to sell your books? Should you be told that you cannot sell them for a certain price? Can you be told to not sell multiple copies and stuff like that? You know what I mean?
Okay, well, I brought it up before. It's different if they decided, you know what, every Spawn comic we're gonna sell is going to be $10. So it's an ongoing comic, and and it's just funny because they're the ones who are like, still $2.99,
Right.
but
nope.
And so it would be different if they were doing that for the whole run, but then it's like, oh, this is probably going to be a hot comic, so I want to make my money now. I mean,
well, what I'm wondering is, do any of the comic book stores, are they currently told, if you're going to get our books, we want them on the top shelf. We want them, if you're going to get this book, we want it displayed here. We want it on your counter.
The vendors, if somebody came and dropped them off, I would think that's like, I mean, that they'd have to have incentives to do that, because I mean, you have your comic, because I mean, maybe they would be like, hey, if you're going to use our comic, don't call them fat chicks and stuff.
We go back to Valiant, where it was like, make this setup, take a picture of it, send it in, and we'll send you the gold program.
Mm-hmm.
And there was the incentive to dress up your store, shelving space, whatever it is, to bring attention to that. But I think but isn't that what the incentive books are? I mean, they're not put in the same spot, obviously, unless they're the only one store that Texas Toys actually has them displayed up top, along with their other comics. But they are clearly notated with different pricing and stuff like that.
The stores put them in glass cases, to where you can't even look at them or touch them.
Right, you can't even touch them, or they have them hanging in the back somewhere, and you can't even touch those things. There's only 2 stores that actually has them in arm length, where you can actually hold on to them, I believe, and that's well, let's just go ahead and mention them. Texas Toys and American Classic Comics. They actually have a little now. If it goes over a certain amount, then you're not touching that book. It goes behind the counter. Books, I believe, if they're under $50 or so, then American Classic Comics has them kind of displayed. They're 1 in 25s, maybe 1 in 50s or something like that. Then there's another area that the 1 in 10s are kind of put. These are ratios, by the way, of how comics are distributed in quantities that you buy them. You buy a certain amount, you get, I'm assuming that's the way it works, you get an incentive book attached to that. You order 100 books, you're going to get the 1 in 10s, you're going to get the 25s, the 50s, and in some of these cases, if it's 1 in 100, then you're going to get the special 1 in 100 book. So the more you buy, the more incentive books you get, and then those are priced accordingly to draw customers in, and then it helps the store make more money because they are supplying these limited edition books.
And it fills their dollar bins for later.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
if they're behind glass, how can you turn the page?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're not slabbed. Let's just say that, but
no slab zone.
Yeah. But I guess that option. I mean, eventually it's going to kind of go there. Um, but I get, but see, that's the thing. Then you can kind of guesstimate by looking on the shelf. Like when those books come out, you can go, okay, wait a minute. He has 1, 2, 4. You can kind of guess about how many books a person is ordering based on that incentive book. If you see the 1 in 100 variant, obviously you do know that they've actually bought 100 issues. Check this out. I was looking through the Facebook groups, and there was a particular group where a guy was saying, have you guys noticed that Batgirl 50 just they just notated it on Midtown Comics as a 1 per customer? And he goes, I ordered 50 of these 2 months ago. How all of a sudden, what are they going to do to my order? And one guy said, oh, I think they're going to cover your order. I think they're going to just delete his thing, and they're probably going to give him that one, and they're going to say, well, you got a store credit. But somebody else was insuring him. Oh, no, you're going to get all 50. No, he's not going to get all 50. Nope.
That's like somebody ordering all the variants of a comic and not getting the incentive ones.
Oh, I hate when that happens. Now what do I do with all these other things? Anyway, yeah, but see, I don't know. It's a tricky game. You're either in the incentive game and you're collecting these collectible covers, and they look great, but you have to like what's in the inside of that book. I don't give a crap how awesome the cover looks. If it's a shitty book, you don't want that. Yeah, that was kind of an interesting thing. Let me get into another part of the news. I know that you guys didn't partake in the we will definitely get into that book later, but I just kind of wanted to share the news since Donny Cates is always somebody we bring up. Donny Cates ended up surprising everybody on what is it, about 2 days ago, about 2 or 3 days ago. Him and Dylan Burnett just threw out their latest comic, and it was The One You Feed. And it's out. I mean, they released it in digital form. This is, and there's also two other books that Donny Cates is coming out, and nobody knows what's going to happen to these. Now everybody's buzzing. Are these going to be available in the same format? And it's kind of interesting because this direct market, this is the thing that we saw Trent Reznor do with music. We've seen different bands just drop music, and it's pay whatever you want. Just go ahead and have it. Go ahead and pay for it. And that's what he did with this book. It has a direct tie to God Country, which is a series that basically just put his name on the map when he released it with Image. And the connection is that sword, the big sword right there. Adam, I think it's called Adam.
Oh, well, see, he's doing it again, because that big sword looks like a big, he did it with Null, and now he's doing it with that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But rather than wait for 2021 for Image Comics to publish it, they went straight to digital publishing with this one. See, and it was a pay-as-you-want from Panel Syndicate Digital Publishers, and there's Carlos. And it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries. And it was actually pretty cool. Hey, Carlos. It is actually, in a way, it is a sequel to God Country. The connection to God Country as of this point is the sword. So that is the connection from that to this. There hasn't been any other correlations. We haven't necessarily figured out all that.
So like the Y of Swords?
And so
and the Return of the King in Black.
Yeah. So he's you will stand against the darkness. You will face the monster. You become the one inside of you, inside of all of us. And then there's the sword. You will return as a king. So basically, they're setting him off. You're gonna be the next king. Here's your sword, and off you go. And that's the mystery. That's the way it all starts. And
is that the Beatle? Is that Beatle lyrics?
Oh, Sergeant Pepper's.
Yeah, it's like you will face the monster. You become the one inside of you, inside of all of us. Isn't that a
Beatles lyrics.
yeah?
The one,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, no,
Well,
no, no, yeah.
it's
Hey,
gonna
Carlos.
it'll plague us.
Hello.
Carlos, quick review. Did you get a chance to read any of the books?
No, sadly. After I did my midterm,
Oh, see, he's got an excuse.
Okay.
wow.
Hey, he showed up though, right?
Yeah, that's where you get extra points for that. It's like signing your name on the thing.
Mhm.
There, you get a golf clap.
But yeah, but like after my midterm, I ate dinner, and then I joined an online tournament, and that took longer than expected.
That's why he came at the time he did.
Yeah.
But you did.
Yes.
You are here, and that is bonus points. You might end up on the new Rip Comics podcast backdrop as the mystery boy.
Yay.
I'm working on that. He'll be like the Beyonder. You know, when they would just have like when he was coming out, it would just be his character.
Yeah, it's just gonna be him like that with a Smash
With
controller.
the white, yep, with the white.
So because there you go, that's what we read. This is
Yes.
a continuation of X of Swords. Only one part came out this particular week. It's part 11, but it is
But it was
an important part.
40. It was 40 pages, like 40-something pages long.
Yeah, it was.
It's the setup.
And you know what?
The setup book.
40 pages, and the price was $4.99. $4.99. So that was pretty. It's a pretty good price for a very packed book, and it is a pivotal book. It's a pivotal book for the series. Basically, we get all our villains pretty much. I guess our quote unquote villains, and I guess what they end up doing in this one. Well, you know what? Let's do what we normally do.
The intro.
Yeah, we got to read the haiku.
X of Swords Part 11. A ritual, a parliament, a game begins. Rated T.
Yeah.
It was pretty much, each of the first half of X of Swords was a book onto its own to these people getting swords that they're worthy of to be able to be part of this this grand game. And then this issue is pretty much a montage. It's like it's like when Professor X and Magneto go throughout, and you're just waiting for Wolverine to be like F off. But anyway,
it's more like it's like Balls of Fury. Whenever they all get to the place and they're all being assigned their rooms and they're being, it's the same thing. Some would say Enter the Dragon, but I say Balls of Fury because it's the same thing. They all find their rooms. They all say, "Oh, look, hey, how's it going?" See you later type deal.
Yeah.
It's a setup. That's what this book is.
That was a cool pick.
Yeah, it was. I like that. How we're seeing one universe, and then we see the flip side of it with them looking down at the.
So are those the matchups?
That's what I
thought about that. Because I'm seeing this cat here, and it's
because they're mirrored.
I don't want to give too much away, but did you notice that one chick looked like she was from Tron? Like she had her disc in front.
Yeah.
Up top right.
I'm still thinking that this dude's supposed to fight that guy, but I think everybody has it in for this guy. Nobody likes Solom because they even made a comment. Their own teammate made a comment. That could be actually a riff happening already.
And there's a surprise twist at the end. I don't want to give it away, but it was pretty. It was a good book. Good turning point. Good setup for the Marauder Hell X-Men Extravaganza coming up here in November.
Very much so. I enjoyed it. I like where it's at. We got to a good midpoint. We will try to address some of that, but I think there's at least two books are going to be coming out next week, and X-Men already is coming out again. So we jump right back into X of Swords, and it's going to have X-Men and I forgot what else is going to be there.
Marauders.
Is it Marauders?
Yeah,
Maybe.
like November 4th, Marauders, and then the following week, Marauders again.
Yeah,
Like
just
14 and then 15.
just when you couldn't get enough Marauders, we're gonna get Marauders. But yeah, so that it's all setting up nicely. Great stuff there. Now, there we are. Be infamous.
Yes.
It finally dropped. The secret, it's out. It's the spoiler pages are all abound with what it is. Now, we may or may not say what that is. You can go on a website and find out what that is. You can go and find out what that last page is if you wish. But I don't know. I think we're just going to talk in general about the book. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, and
No, I don't.
Link to that.
What? No,
Yeah.
what do you mean links? Come on now.
No, I'm trying to figure out who that is. So.
it's
No. You trust me. You cannot tell until the last panel.
Yeah,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know. I have to go back to listen to some of our old shows, but it was either that or talking to Rob. With like one exception. No, that I pretty much, and I might have just been us talking, but before this came out, I pretty much like laid out the way this issue, like how it would go, and I was right on who it was. So
I have to read the whole thing over again and hear a different voice in my head now because
I
that would have given it away at the beginning.
Well, I don't know because they're older. Okay,
you're telling me Sean Penn wouldn't sound the same.
Hey, come on, man.
You know, so he came out in a lot of movies.
It's the TMNT event of 2020. Springing from the minds of TMNT co-creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird comes an epic like you've never seen before. In a future, NYC far different than the one we know today, a lone surviving turtle goes on a seemingly hopeless mission to obtain justice for his fallen family and friends. Kinetic layouts from Eastman, inks from Esau and Issac Escorza, and a thrilling script full of surprises from longtime TMNT scribe Tom Waltz, all combined to make this one of the most memorable TMNT stories you will ever read. It is oversized in both format and page count. And again, did not think I was going to get this one. And like I said before, lo and behold, I go in there and there's 3 on the shelf, and I went ahead and just grabbed 2 because I might want to read it again.
Well, this is going to sound crazy, but go back tomorrow or later today and pick me up the 3rd one because nobody else probably bought it yet.
They probably didn't. I would be shocked, dude. I would be utterly shocked if you go in next Wednesday and that book is still on the shelf.
Don't wait. I might not get one.
Luckily, I think the reason he got this is because he said one of the people with pull boxes gets this turtle one. He gets like turtles, and I think he asked for it.
I wonder if he's ever seen an incentive book. It's like the guy that just keeps going for Hot Wheels and can't find a super treasure. I will find it one day.
Oh no, they'll get them. They'll buy supers instead of like for a lot of money and probably sell it for $5 underneath it. But well, I mean, I have that. That is my reserve copy. If somebody needs one, it's only going to be like I just need like 3 or 4 supers for it.
I've got enough of them.
I know you do.
So,
very good. I mean, the
artwork is really good.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it. I remember I was reading it at night, and I just had to. I could not stop. I just had to keep reading it. It was
after I came home after buying. I had to. And I just read it through. I'm about to probably after the show. Hell, I'll probably read it right now as we're doing the show.
The
But,
autograph is really good. He's walking through the sludge. It's in the future, and everything is improved. You know, and the thing is that he was using a lot of the weapons. He was trying to use them all, trying to throw, I guess, the people off that, you know, who it was. You know, you got Chinese stars and, you know, different things that he was using. I liked it. Dark, you know, very much. I think what everybody was hoping, you know, we were going to.
And if you've ever looked at any of the old Turtles comics and stuff like that, I mean, they're known for like these the action. I mean, the panels being able to, like, you know, convey the fights and stuff like that. I mean, it's just.
I did notice something on one of the panels. He was swinging on a rope, and it was very, very McFarlane-esque Spider-Man pose. You saw that one where the legs are up and he's swinging through. It's a mid panel.
I just also noticed. Is that the turtle? Doesn't that kind of look like the turtle van?
Yeah, down at the bottom. That's the first thing I saw, but it didn't have the spare tire in the front. But it looks just like the turtle van.
And there's the hover. I guess is in hover mode.
I guess so. They're because all the tires flip and then they fly.
Because it looks like there's a missing. I mean, again, you know, his mask is black.
Yeah.
His mask is black. This is just
not that one.
What?
No.
Oh yeah, no. These are just the previews. But I have to say, there was. I remember even talking to Rob. He hadn't read it yet, and I was like, you know, when I was reading it, they kind of give it away, but there was a. You know what? That's jacked up. That's jacked up.
What?
He just noticed something, but we're not going to talk about it.
The wreath in the back. That's what we're talking about. But they call someone by their last, you know, like their name. Yeah, they call someone by their last name, and at first I was like, oh, is this a call out? And then it turns out it is. And very great surprise. The last panel, the lead up, they introduce the antagonist that gives a little bit of the. I think I texted you all after I read it, and I was like, holy sh! It was just I enjoyed it. I remember I'd gotten a couple old Turtle comics, like when they did the crossover with Savage Dragon a long time ago, and just some different ones. You know, and they were always enjoyable, but again, you know, I wasn't always collecting, and some places wouldn't even have the Turtles. So, but this one was very, very enjoyable. Like I said, I'm about to read it again and again because, you know, I can't wait till my kids move up here because I'm gonna let them read it. And if we get enough likes, next episode I'll be ripping it up.
Raising the value of those comics that everybody has out there. That would be one less book.
No, I actually told, I think when Rob mentioned the story, this comic to me, I told him that.
Yeah, you thought it would be Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he guessed it.
Wow.
Too. Y'all are in sync.
You didn't. We haven't said it,
Mm-hmm.
and you just.
Uh-oh.
Wow, dude.
Dun, 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 dun.
I mean, Rich had the nunchucks around his neck.
Well, they got
But I didn't
nunchucks
say
right here.
anything.
There's nunchucks.
So remember to put spoiler. I mean, not to the
Look, slab
retro
city.
spoiler. No slabs.
Look at this one.
Slab-free zone.
Whee!
Oh yeah, the foot had like Android. It was like Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Those what we looked at were the retail covers. Oh, never mind. Oh, what's going on here? But so, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin,
And the last page.
the last page. But that is the way you sell the books.
Is it?
Anyway,
Is that how we sell books? No.
I think
No sell zone. We do not sell comics on this podcast.
yeah, we don't sell comics here. But
Aw.
it is
Or
a
show slabbed. No slab zone.
it delivered. The
Yes,
hype
it is.
was there. Seen a lot of comics with hype come out. They fall short in some shape or form. Either story leaves us hanging. It's not a full thrown out. It's you can't get your teeth on the whole thing. You're missing something in the whole thing. But this one delivered on the packaging, the characters, the story, the action. I remember we were reading that Cable book, and once it started getting into the action, it was kind of, moving around, but it wasn't like this type of action. It was like you see a page and you skip a page, and there was like, here's some action. Then maybe get set up and then here's some action. It was just,
Pacing was really good.
yeah, very, very good. You could easily, this was like, for anybody that plays video games and stuff like that, that's what it was. We're going through the levels. He's going through, the whole thing. And then, he's on a mission, and the mission is, it's part 1 of 5. And if this is the way you start off a series, dude, I can only imagine what's going to happen in these next couple of issues. And the problem is the next issue, I don't know.
I heard it got pushed.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if it comes out in December
14th, I think it was.
Right. That's right.
Can you check something?
Sure. What?
Do they have the page-by-page comparison to the preview?
Okay. So this is the original artwork that they were going with. Okay. Gets the ninja stars, and he sees it. So the cameras are like different. The vantage point that he's showing, it's very different. And then he gets the stars, and he throws it up.
Where can I buy this at? like, can I go to
I mean, you can't go to Texas Toys.
Maybe on Monday.
So this is the breakdown of the original climbing up the wall. We talked about that one earlier, and the cars, the flying cars, and he's coming down in the stance. And then this is the interpretation of the other one. What we were given, I remember there was a big thing, shake up, it was going to cause a delay. And what happened is that, I mean, obviously these cats were drawing this thing since probably before, or they had those preview pages. They were drawing this stuff before the summer. So you would think that maybe this whole thing was probably close to being done, but obviously I'm wondering who. They said something that either, I don't know if it was the publishers or something, that decided that the artwork wasn't up to somebody's standard. I don't know who it was or whatever. And I know that these were different artists. I know Eastman and Laird were writers. I'm just wondering if they just decided, hey, we're 3 issues into this thing, and they decided, fuck this, we're not going to do the rest of this. This is not how we want the Turtles to go out. We need somebody else. And, like they said, longtime scribe, the artist guy that had been doing the Turtles, I guess prior, all these past couple of issues, that the relaunching of that, maybe even that was already in their minds, that's the image that they wanted to go with. So they decided, you know what, let's go ahead and go with the original guys, or the guy that's been doing the original comic book, and let's just go ahead and rock and roll that way. I don't know. It's
maybe it's contractual. Maybe they couldn't come to a deal till 3 episodes or 3 issues in, and
they
then
put a
said,
power
well,
play.
we got a deal. Yeah, and let's go ahead and have them redraw them all.
Wow. Yeah, I'm kind of. So it's basically become lost artwork. I don't know if and probably they have a non-disclosure. Those artists, I don't think, or the artist guy is not going to say anything. I'm pretty sure there has to be some kind of embarrassment. You know what I mean? You're being pulled off a book that has so much hype, and it's unfortunate. I mean, I can see, it's just different eye. I mean, you can go step by step through the McFarlane book. The McFarlane was pulled off G.I. Joe. He was set to do a G.I. Joe book, and they pulled it completely. And then it wasn't until it became famous that they said, oh, yeah, don't we have an entire issue of G.I. Joe that was deemed not G.I. Joe? And they released it as the Special Mission G.I. Joe. It's the one where it looks like an homage cover to Spider-Man, and it's Snake Eyes on the cover of that. Yeah. And then the whole issue is basically the non-release version of his book. And then, so you have a side-by-side comparison of what his version of that comic book was compared to the redone version that pissed everybody off at Marvel that said, nah, this isn't G.I. Joe. And Roland has expressed his dissatisfaction in regards to the way he's drawn, Peter Parker, and there's certain things that
The eyes and
there's just certain things that he just not used to or doesn't like or whatever. And it's that some people don't like this artist or that artist or whatever, and you have opinions and stuff. But it's very interesting that we're seeing, that we're able to see this, especially with the Turtles. There were a lot of hype. I kind of got skittish about it. I was like kind of worried, but sells. I mean, dude, check that out. They sold over 130, but I find it strange that they went to press early on this thing and didn't wait for the actual final number. Or maybe they just were afraid. Let's go ahead and print because they didn't want to be embarrassed that we pulled the artist and da-da-da-da. And then they were obviously way over surprised, and they hit 130,000 issues. I wonder what
how many the second print's going to hit.
Well, that was another thing that I was going to say. Is it going to do kind of like what McFarlane did? I wouldn't doubt that it does that, because if think about it, if most let's just say the average, except yours, you don't have a regular store. So all these questions, we can't even pose these type questions to Roland. But think about this: in our town that has at least 3 comic book stores, there was one store that actually had a couple. I didn't get an actual number, but actually had a couple of these issues on the shelf, and they sold out instantaneously. And initially they said they had 40 copies, and that they're all gone by Wednesday morning. So I don't know. And in a town of 3 comic book stores, the other comic book store did get some, but those were exclusively, I guess, or they kept them just for their
amusement.
Well, no, they're just their pull box guys, and they said nobody was getting extra copies. And I'm wondering, okay, but they have to have had extra copies. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't know how severely allocated they got. So I don't know. I think
out of 100 books, they pulled 20 off the order of one store, and they never got anything. But supposedly they pulled 20 out of 100.
I did see 2 incentive books that, well, I'm just going to say Comics Plus showed that they were going to have at least 2 of the Ninja Turtle incentive books. So it's like a 1 in 25 and maybe a 1 in 10. So maybe I find it hard to believe that they would have only got that many.
Well, I was going to say, I didn't hear of any other thing other than the 1 in 10s, because somebody was supposed to have gotten 10 of those, and when they got bumped down to 80, he said they were sending him less than 5 of the incentive books.
Right.
Which, even though they were sending him 80, he still got shorted.
Right.
You holding up there, Carlos?
Falling asleep. I'm sleepy now.
Hey, I was told I was the one who did that.
Yep. It's
But wait, but we have 3 comic book stores? I thought we only have like 2, because I know there's Texas Toys and Comic Plus.
Yeah,
what's the third one?
American Classic
Movie Classics.
Yeah, American Classic Comics.
Oh, I didn't know that one.
I don't know that one. I don't know it. I don't know it. It's a secret one. But no, that's the Ninja Turtle time. I think everybody should be excited about that. When it comes in, especially if you're from Corpus Christi, Texas, we're still waiting for the shipment to drop at one particular store. And when that one, I guarantee you, when that one hits, if you're not there and whatever, this is a type of store that I don't think he really cares if you're going to buy more than one. I think if you walked in the place and had 10, more the merry, because he is in a weird position where a lot of his Marvel, Image, all these books have not hit his shelf. And when all this stuff hits, I mean, it's going to be slam right back to back on another huge order.
Yep.
Man, that he's going to be in a real tough spot. I mean, there are going to be so many new books, and then the following week, if he gets them on time, you're just jam packing all these books. They're going to get lost in the shuffle, and so you got to. Then that might be Monday, and then here it goes Tuesday. The new books come in. I don't know. It's going to be kind of crazy on there. But is there anything? We're gonna just to mention. Not all of us read Spawn 311. Spawn 311, again, is the infamous cover, the cash grab cover. And it's invisible.
I know, I'm trying to, you know what? Yeah, let me take off the virtual.
He's going to take the virtualness off so he can see Spawn 311. Spawn 311 has guns. Okay. What they did was the original cover A, which is a Matina cover. This cover was cover C. What they did was when they went to print and then they shipped the books out, they sent the notice to the printers that cover C was now cover A and cover A was now cover C. But that wasn't going to affect your orders.
So here you have Lucky Luke, and then you have Full Metal Alchemist. And then some guy named Al.
Could it be, let me just pose this question. When they saw the artist that was going to be attached to that cover, it was going to be an embarrassing scene that nobody was ordering that cover, and there was actually a Gunslinger Spawn on that cover. So let's switch the orders and make cover A, C, and C, A. And what we'll do is we'll honor those Francisco Matina covers at a later. We'll print those ones and shoot out your actual number of those. Because now you got Gunslinger Spawn, and it didn't do the 100,000 covers like the previous other. Because I think what's happening is like what Richard does. He'll go and he's looking for specifically maybe the McFarlane black and white or something like that, and then. If it's not that and you're looking at the artist's name and it's like, I don't want that dude. And it's because the way they show these covers, he only shows like a preview cover. Like right now we're seeing the preview of January's cover. If you look in the previews that just came out, but you don't see the other two covers. And then he waits like we're about to go to print and the FOC is due at the end of the week. Oh yeah, by the way, this is the cover. And then everybody goes crazy and everybody orders that cover. Problem is he has 3 covers. He doesn't show that last cover, and he expects everybody to buy that cover automatically. And then he goes, oh, yeah, by the way, you have 1 day to order this thing. And if the orders don't go in, well, they don't go in. So anyway, the infamous switcheroo game happened.
Which I have till November 18th because that's what it says in previews. So that's what my comic guy said.
Yeah.
Because I said, when should I get that in? And he like, oh, that's easy. And he flipped it open. November 18th.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's really easy to follow. But the problem is a lot of these people do not use a preview book and they don't do their orders in advance. And then you end up in a lurch and you're searching for books. And, you know, if you go by, every Wednesday, you're hoping and hoping your books are going to be out. It's real tough to do that. But then again, if your comic book store does not get them, what do you do?
With a drunken sailor?
Because right now there's a lot of people in Corpus Christi that do not have the last Ronin. Yeah, they don't have that.
And meanwhile, in a small desert town in California, I picked up 2.
Two.
And somebody wants me to go pick up the third one.
I told you, pick it up for me.
The infamous. But
And then when I bought that trade paperback of Killjoys, he for some reason he ended up having because he only had again 3 national anthems and that black and white cover, but for some reason it was up by the counter, and he showed. I was like, yeah, don't forget, I bought that one when it first came out, and he's like, oh yeah.
I thought maybe you might have wanted another one because you seem to buy multiple. Never mind. Nobody picked up National Anthem. It was still there.
Well, no. Somebody wanted it in their box.
Yeah.
So he ordered 3 extra. I picked up one. Another one was bought, and then he had the third one. Maybe saving. I think he might have been saving it for someone.
Oh.
Because I know when I picked up that Killjoys California trade paperback, he went to go look. He goes, oh yeah, he started looking for it, and even then I told him, oh, that one you had, I bought it. Oh, okay. He just doesn't. I come in and he does. I got here September 20th, and since then I've come in about every week, wearing my Riddler mask, and he still takes a minute for him to recognize me. I'm like, aren't I the only Hispanic coming in this shop?
Oh my Lord.
Not only that, but I'm wearing a jacket with my name on it, so I just don't understand.
It's me. You don't recognize me.
I think if we're doing these, if we end up, we need to have a episode of talking about our comic universe that we created.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I agree.
Need to find out about that Danos journal.
Ryan Danos?
Yes.
That's it.
Doctor?
That's the
Ryan Danos?
And Papa Luca.
3, 4, 5.
And Carlos is like, what the hell is going on?
What
I think
is
he's been
talking?
I think he's been saying that the whole time he's been here.
1, 2,
Oh, he's falling asleep. Oh, we got touch and goes.
5, 6, 7. Okay.
We got ourselves a nodder.
I liked, I read the Spawn and
So did I. I read
Spawn
it too.
311, and if you were expecting Gunslinger, you got pieces of Gunslinger. You got a little snapshot of him smoking a cigarette, and then you get the last page. And like my brother said, Richard, he said that this seems to be like the little cameo again. Last issue.
The build-up.
Yeah, well, he's on the covers, but he's not in the books.
And Medieval Spawn came out in a word balloon when he said, and then for some reason Chadwick Boseman was talking to that other guy.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, I mean Al Simmons. No, I'm sorry, it was Al Simmons.
Yeah, that was a little surprising. A lot of books are coming out the first week of November. We got stuff from Donny Cates. We have more X of Swords. We have Null. A book with Null finally is going to appear, and he's going to finally come all on the show.
Over everybody.
Everybody. So it is here. We've been waiting for it. The buildup has happened.
No.
The buildup has happened. And it will happen. So it is going to drop. And there's a special Null is Coming cover, which I think that's all it says.
I guess written by sailors, or I mean seamen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
the skeet issue.
But yeah, so we're gonna be talking X of Swords, crossover, Null, and Black and White, and Blood. It is going to be a huge, dude, back to back. You got Turtles and Wolverine.
Did you see on Instagram Cooper doing that. He showed the variant where it's reversed, where it's all red. Oh man.
Yep, lots of covers, just as many covers as the last Ronin. So it's going to be cool. So next week, monster, oversized, wide-angled, giant-sized, mega edition of Rip Comics podcast. It's going to be so much comic that you don't even know what to do. But that's going to be all next week. So until next week,
I'm Roland.
I'm Rich.
I'm
Carlo.
I don't remember my name. I don't remember my name. I'm Will. I'm Will. I'm Will.
I'm Carlos.
There we go.
I'm Will. I'm Will.
Heroes in a half shell, little power.